Jesus Christ. Is that how I look today? Hey Ashley, you alright? Jack, hello mate. Hey guys, how's it going? A bit of a late one today. I kind of lost track of the time with trying to figure things out. But thanks, darling. In losing track of that time, I also had a realization that I think appeals to most people, not just myself, and that is that most of us hate to learn. And what I mean by that is because learning is so difficult. I mean, learning to do anything new, hey Jade, learning to figure anything out is an extremely mentally draining, physically draining, just like completely, it can be very, very hard. You know, if anybody's tried to, you know, really work hard to do a paper, or really work hard to do really well in a subject, like, you know how mentally draining it is, and that can be for anything. I mean, a lot of us want wealth, right? A lot of us want to earn a lot of money, but sometimes we fail to realize how minute the details are. You know, when you're trying to earn money in any way, like, it can be the little tiny things that you have to get your head around in order to make something work properly. And, well, at least somebody thinks it. Cheers, Jade. We have to understand that in order to learn, you have to learn. And what I mean by that is sometimes you've got to learn to, you know, go away from your social situation. Sometimes you've got to learn not to go out. Sometimes you've got to learn to save your money. Sometimes you've got to learn to let go of your creature comforts, you know. Sometimes you have to learn a lot more about yourself than you did before. You know, for some people out there that think you're, you know, you're perfect, and for those people that are quite arrogant, and, you know, I mean that with all the love in the world, you need to learn that you will always be learning. And what I mean by that is you have to learn to let go of that ego. You know, I had to do it as well. I had to do the exact same thing. You've got to learn, bless you. You've got to learn to give up this idea that you know everything, because you never will. You know, like, there's a famous proverb that we'll be learning until, you know, we're on our deathbed, and that's of course the truth. I mean, there is all these flattering comments. I'm trying to bring across a good point here. You're making me go red. Nah. You know, you could find somebody who's living on the streets, and you can still learn something from them. You know, there is an infinite bound of knowledge that just flows around everything. You know, I often find myself walking along a path or something and thinking about, you know, the fact that that path is never the same from 1 minute to the next. You know, whether it's particles that are moving across the wind that's flowing through the earth that's rotating, it's never the same. I think that's what we've got to learn. Like, things are never the same. Like, we, you know, from day to day, that's why they say, like, one day is not the same as the first. I could have probably said that better, but, you know, I'm actually quite drained myself. But this is what it is. You know, in order to get to where you've got to be, you have to learn. You know, you've got to learn to be strong. When somebody treats you like shit, you've got to learn to have that mental strength. You've got to learn to approach situations differently. You know, like, it's not just linear. You can't just approach it with jealousy, with aggression, with violence, with, you know, it's got to be different. You've got to learn and understand to be different. Like, if you approach something with aggression, try approaching it with love. If you approach something with violence, try approaching it with compassion. You know, I had to learn that. And I've never been a violent person, but I've been aggressive. You know, when something didn't quite go... Hey, I'm glad he's tuning in as well, Ashley. You have to learn sometimes to change yourself drastically. If you want to achieve, then you have to know that you're going to go through a metamorphosis, you know, much like the caterpillar, right? You got to go through a long process in order to become a butterfly. You might trademark that, sound pretty good. But that's just my little bit for today. You know, there are times when you're going to have to spend 12 hours straight, like knuckling down at something to make it happen. Like, it's not going to come easy. We all say it. But for fuck's sake, like, you can say that proudly when you've achieved it. So like all those phrases that come at you, you know, the negative ones, it's like, it's not easy, it's not easy, it's not easy, it's not easy. That's fine. We know that. Everybody in the world knows it. You know, that's why relationships get difficult. That's why breakups are hard. That's why losing a family member is difficult, because it is, right? But we can either use that as a means to, as an excuse to be depressed, or we could use it as a means to grow ourselves, man or woman. So this one's got to be a bit of a quick one because I've got to get back to work. But, you know, just understand that every lesson that gets dished to you can be interpreted in different ways. You've got to know that. Have to understand it. So thank you so much for everyone who commented today. Thank you, Ashley, Jade, Fern, if you're still watching, you know, Jack, Tom, thanks everyone for tuning in. These are going to be more consistent. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. Something's got to change. You know, something's got to change in our lives, and we've got to be there for each other. That's just how it is. So have a fantastic evening. Sleep well. Wake up early. Wake up rejuvenated. Get stuff done. Take care.